Hi, this is Barb with Coochin County Community Television, and I am here today with Bev Mayfield. She is the envoy and core administrator of the local Salvation Army in International Falls. Actually, you serve Coochin County.
We do.
Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
we serve Coochin County.
Okay. And so the building that we're in is right across from Dairy Queen.
At 1301 3rd Avenue West.
Yeah, so it's on the main drag, and you may be familiar with it, but you may not have ever been in here. And it always surprises me when I come in here. It's very much like walking into a church and an administrative an office building at the same time.
That it is.
And that it is. So, which is great because I think the beauty of that is that it really really puts on display the breadth of services that the Salvation Army offers. And we're going to get to the point of this here shortly, which is that this year they're celebrating being in this town for 90 years, serving our community for 90 years.
International Falls.
Yes. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and what that means to our community and its place in history here. But I think we talked about this, that the Salvation Army has kind of an old school charitable kind of feeling or aura around it because the Salvation Army has been here for so long, right?
It has. Yeah, we've been here since 1926.
1926.
And that's just International Falls Salvation Army. And around the world, it was William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army, and it was 1865 he was founded the Salvation Army.
1865.
1865.
And it is still going.
And still going.
Strong.
Yes, we are. We're in 127 countries.
127 countries. So I think that surprised me when we had this conversation. At first it surprised me when you said that Fort Frances, our sister community across the river, as we call it, also has a Salvation Army, and so that brought me to the question: are they international? And you said, yeah,
127.
27. So I think that is a really powerful testament to this silent. I do. I think of the Salvation Army as an organization that goes about its business very quietly.
We do. And the time that you really see us out and about is at Christmas time.
Right.
Doing our Red Kettle campaign.
Now, the Red Kettle campaign, of course, in our community, we giggle because whenever I see you at the baseball games, I ask, is this the real Bev or is this the cardboard
People
cutout?
do ask me that.
I'm not the only one. I thought I was so clever.
Not. Yeah. No, where are you today?
and I think, that's such a great, to me, that's a great way of kind of lightening up the fact that there's need in our community.
There is,
and,
yes.
The red bucket is really something that we're all so aware of, and we see it all the time. You and I talked though earlier about what does that mean? What's the other side of that? And we tuck our money in. It's hard because a lot of people carry debit cards now, so they don't have cash. I know I'm always scraping whatever I can find. But I know it goes into the bucket.
But where does it go after that?
Where does it go? Right.
And that's the one thing I'd like to share is where it does go. And for those of you that are familiar with what we do here is we do social services and we help meet the needs of people through basic needs.
Okay.
We do emergency lodging. We do emergency food pantry. We have an emergency food pantry to feed the hungry. And we do miscellaneous things as well to help people. It might depend on what they're needing at the time.
Right.
And so we do have some extra dollars now to be able to help with fulfilling some of the needs that we weren't able to before, like medical helps.
Okay.
There's a lot of traveling outside of our community.
Sure, yes.
That they have an appointment outside the community, so then they can't get there. And so we do have medical dollars for that, for travel, for stays there, as well as for, if someone needs to go to the dentist and can't afford to get a tooth extracted or
and if anybody's
medicines.
had that happen, these are
true.
needs.
These are serious needs, and they're real needs.
Yes.
And people coming to us, and so putting your your dollars, your donations into those red kettles helps us throughout the year. It's not just at Christmas time that we're asking at the red kettle. But
you know that's when the people are out shopping, right?
It is.
I get it.
Yes. And so when you see me out there, I can't be out there all the time. I can't be out there ringing the bell as much as I'd love to be. So you'll find my cardboard cutout, you could say, in two places. So that's where you see me ringing the bell.
Yeah.
And so that's really kind of what we do here. And for our social services, there's a lot of need there for social services like heat, utilities, rents.
These are basic needs.
They are the basic needs. They help elevate the quality of life for people in our area.
That was really well said. I think if you don't have those basic needs met, I'm not the only person who thinks this, right? It's the truth. If you don't have those basic needs met, it's harder then to go to the next step. Getting a job, staying employed even, providing for yourself, your family. This is real life stuff.
It is. And sometimes when people are in a crisis, they're in that crisis, they can't think beyond the crisis. So we can help them sift through, their need for today and the steps that's going to be for their tomorrows to help them, to get past that crisis moment so that they can think about the future moments and what that's going to look like for them on a better quality of life that they aren't facing right now. And so then we can help, coordinate with other social providers in the area, other resources we can refer them to help better. If we can't help meet that need, then we can send them to others that might be able to help them with the need that they have. It may be, get in contact with going to school.
Sure.
And
how do we enroll my child, or how do I? I think one of the things that strikes me as I visit with service providers in our community is how well connected you guys are.
We are.
And I'm guessing that you would even like it to be more so, right? But if you just have to make one stop.
You do.
And there's no question that in my experience and from having conversations, I want to help you. We're not territorial, right?
No, we're not.
The service is not territorial here. It's not.
It's not.
You don't get extra points anywhere for being the one.
That's right.
And the other thing that strikes me is the number of resources that are in this community. But you have to start somewhere, and Salvation Army is a phenomenal place to start.
It is.
I want to mention too, as this conversation meanders a little bit. You have office hours.
Yes, I do.
But there's always, this is also, the Salvation Army also serves as an emergency contact.
It does.
So our needs and a crisis do not work on the work week schedule or office hours.
No, our office hours are from 10 to noon and 1 to 4, Monday through Thursday. And so anything beyond that, I'm here.
You don't have to wait.
You don't have, no.
Make the call.
Make the call.
Make the call, knock on the door.
Ring the doorbell.
And that's real.
It is.
And I think, when you talked about people being in crisis and just the way our brain just kind of overloads with all the what ifs, what am I going to do, and the this and that, you can come to your door with that happening. And Bev and her staff here, your training, your mission is to sit with that individual and say, let's start here and tick those things off one at a time and help guide in that process.
And I think that's a relief for them because, when you're in crisis, the only thing you can think of is, okay, right now I need to feed my family. Or right now I need to have heat in my home because it's 50 below.
I need a diaper for this baby right now. I mean, that's very real stuff.
It is real.
Yeah.
And so that's where we can help meet that need, and no matter what hour it is.
Right.
And so that's what we want everyone to know, that we are here. The Salvation Army's here for those that come to in time of their needs.
Yeah.
And so we work together, and that's what I love the community, because we all work together and we know the needs, and we work together in help meeting the needs of the people that come to us. And no matter what that need is, it might be just to talk. There might be just
processing,
or
just a place to sit. This is a really warm and cozy, very homey feel here.
Well, thank you.
Oh, it is. It's really nice.
We want everyone to feel welcome here, and that they're loved. We really want to show the compassion of Jesus to them, because that's our mission. Is to serve people in the name of Jesus without any, there's no discrimination, no
Nope,
bias.
Nope.
No.
The door's open.
That's right.
I think that what I hear other social service providers say too is that we know there's more. There's a huge need. You see it, but you know that there's more out there that aren't coming. And so really, this is another way for us to remind people in our community. Whoever's watching this,
Right.
you might not have that need, but have awareness, because by being aware of services that are provided in our community, it might not be us that needs that.
That's right.
But to be aware of how we could support someone by offering them an option or a place to start, that makes our entire community stronger.
It does.
Healthier, more successful. There's nothing that doesn't benefit.
That's right. It doesn't. It helps the whole,
It does.
Of the person, and the whole of the community, because we know we have a great support system here in our community of people, and that's what it's just like one family, a big family that we know. Well, if they can't help, so and so is going to be able to help,
Right.
and so it's helping, it's serving that person, and helping to meet that need the best we can.
We talked a little bit about we put that money in that kettle, and 90 years in our community. 90 years, this Salvation Army has been serving the people in our community. And we have no idea. It's amazing to me.
It is.
Our history is still so new to us here. I mean, we're so close to it. We're maybe a half a generation off, right? But you put that money in that kettle, and the faith that we have, that feeling that we get when we drop is always, I feel like I wish I could put more in there, right? Because we're always digging. But the faith that, and the belief and the trust that money that you just placed into that red bucket is going exactly where it needs to be. That it will find its way, because the Salvation Army takes that. We try to be the best stewards we can with the money that's donated to us, to give it to those that are in need of it. And so that's where you can know that we help meet the needs of the people the best we can with the dollars that we receive. And know, even though you don't know the people, know that it's helping people, your neighbor. That's good.
And we're all good neighbors here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that you know that you're going to be helping.
And we don't know who.
No.
And we don't know when. And that's what I think that's that faith piece that I think is really lovely. And we also talked about crisis can touch anyone at any socioeconomic level.
That's right.
And things can change pretty dramatically.
They can.
And so when you place all those monies, those bills, those little love notes you've been tucking into that kettle all these years, it may someday be something that someone you love benefits from. You just don't know.
No, we don't. And the thing is we don't know when we're going to have a loss of a job.
Sure.
Or even hours that are going to be decreased, or there's going to be a crisis, maybe a medical crisis that that's going to take the dollars that you need for your rent or you need for your heating. And so that's where we come into play, is that you may be giving, and at this time you may be in need. And that's why we are so thankful for all those that donate to the Salvation Army, because if we didn't have you to help us to meet the needs of the community, we wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
We wouldn't be able to help them pay for their electricity that needs to be into the home, or feed the hungry, or emergency lodging. They find themselves, maybe they've been evicted, or
there's been a fire,
or there's been a fire,
flooding.
or
we certainly have had in the last couple of years some experience with flooding.
Yes, we have.
And fires happen, and other really catastrophic things happen.
Or just something happened in the home, you can't be in the home.
Sure.
And so whatever that is, and so it helps us to be able to provide. To help meet the need of the people that come to us. And we serve Coochin County. Yeah. And so, that's as far as North Home.
This is a big county.
It is a big county. I traveled it. and right now we have an extra employee that is the outreach specialist.
Okay.
And her name is Angela Calvin. And she goes out to the community. So for those that can't get to us, because of communication barriers or whatever barrier that might be stopping people from getting to us, she will get out to them, and so that they can be serviced as well.
That's wonderful.
And that happens.
And we, again, at the county this big, the other thing about a county of this size is that it's not very densely populated. So there's a lot of space in between us sometimes.
There is.
And you just don't know what that barrier might be.
No, yeah, that's the thing. We found a lot of barriers. They don't have phone service, or they don't have a vehicle. They don't have a fax machine that we can transfer back and forth doing faxes.
Sure. Or computers, or
just communication itself.
Communication. We are in an age where we take that so for granted.
We do,
and it's innocently done. You know. But not everybody has that. I mean, I think if I forget my phone at home, how am I going to function? And how lucky I am that that's my, But there's people who don't have that access to that at all for a variety of reasons.
That's right.
I think that as you and I spoke earlier, we talked about this. I'm just going to kind of list some of the stuff that you mentioned to me, because the way that you can impact this community blows my mind. Again, we that's a secret, right? And social service side, which we did talk a bit about. You also have a spiritual side, and you have church services here.
We do,
and you lead those.
Yes, I do.
Right here in this building.
Yes.
So you can come here for that as well. It's kind of a one-stop. It's like a mall.
You
talked about really providing for the whole person.
Yes.
So not just the physical needs and the coordinating of managing life and things that come, but really that spiritual side. So you've got that internal and that I liked how you called it whole person.
The whole of the person.
Yep, I just love that. And emergency disaster, which I think a lot of us are familiar with. The community care ministry. Youth and character building. So you have Moonbeams, Sunbeams, Girl Guards, Adventure Corps, Explorer Rangers, and maybe there's more. I couldn't keep up. I was writing.
No, you've got it.
Okay. There's a women's ministry camp. And then you have summer camps at the Northwoods camp, which is in Finlayson, did you say?
Yes, in Finlayson.
Okay.
Minnesota.
For girls and boys. So all sorts.
And adults too.
And adults. I'm really happy to hear that, because I never got to go to camp as a child.
Oh.
Maybe it's time.
It is. I think it's time.
So, and then...
we do a vacation Bible school. We didn't talk
vacation
about
Bible school.
We do
okay.
that.
And I
sometimes I'll call it, day camp too.
Sure, okay.
And so it's a fun time for we go on field trips, and the kids just have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of breaks up their summer.
Well, my kids are already, I call it summer hibernation time for them, because they just stop. They're in that place right now where they just stop, so I'm looking for things. You help with rent, basic needs. Again, we're talking food, shelter, basic needs, emergency lodging, emergency food pantry. And I just said you go about it so quietly in our community. And I hope that this it's not going to create more of a need in our community, but I hope that it helps us to address that need better by creating awareness of how to find you and how to get to you and what's here. Because again, sometimes people just feel hopeless and maybe don't know. Or
they don't know where to turn. Sometimes it's,
Well, yeah. Where do I go?
Where do I start?
And again, the service providers in this community are so well coordinated and connected. But we talked about one of the biggest barriers is having to ask, being in that position where life has really taken a turn, and pride. You've been the one who's been stuffing that bucket all these years, and maybe now, that kettle.
Find yourself in a position where I need help with rent, or I need help with utilities, or I need help to go to many appointments, maybe because of cancer.
Sure.
And that's another thing too.
And that's a great thing too, because I think that is very real in our community. Something that's talked about quite a bit is access to some higher level of medical needs. And we have great healthcare facilities in International Falls.
We do.
Of course, they're not every hospital, not every clinic can offer everything.
That's right.
And so when a specialist has to be accessed somewhere else, there's not anybody, I don't think, that might see this or hear what we're saying that doesn't know somebody who's had been challenged there, because it is expensive. We love living where we live.
We do. It's beautiful here.
But then it just costs us a little extra then when we have to find some specialized resources. So it's really wonderful to know that this is another place that can help support a family or an individual with that real expense that we have here to find health and to get things back together again.
That's right. To get back to good health.
Pathway of Hope we talked about.
Yes.
We looked at the brochure, and that was something that I, for both of us, even though there's a whole brochure, how do we define that? And we did a lot of free thinking.
We did.
And so let's kind of do this together. We'll kind of tag team it. But I it's for parents. It's really it's a resource. It's a program for parents. And all you have to do to qualify is be a parent.
Yes, be a parent.
Of someone 18, younger than 18, under 18.
Yes.
So you've got really a child, a dependent. And the program is an ongoing program that helps you evaluate where you're at and set goals.
Set goals where you want to be.
Where you want to be, and then the steps that it takes
to get there.
So you really, we all know kind of what our big dream is. But how do you bite off the smaller pieces?
That's right. And that's the part that we can help them with.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Because even if you have multiple children, it's all new.
It is.
Every day is something that you haven't seen before.
That's right.
Nobody goes to college for 4 years before they have a child because they've been certified as a parent.
That's right.
We're all winging it. And but to have something like that you can, again, it helps you focus when you're looking at this whole big thing.
The whole picture. Yeah. And also we have contacts as well, and supporters to help mentor and to help with those parts that they're not understanding. So and that's the part of working with community resources, and connecting them with the right helps that they're in need of to meet goals. It's important to do goals in our lives, and I like goal setting. I like the short term as well as the long term goal setting. I think it's good for everyone to do. So it helps give you an incentive to set goals for yourself, and it could be from waking up one morning to
earlier.
Maybe earlier. I strive for that, but I'm not making it so far. But it's what it's going to how does that look in your life,
right? And what does that feel like? And how is that
it's a confidence.
And did you get the change that you hoped that it would too, right?
Exactly.
And I agree with you. I really do, and I think that's an intriguing program. So it's fun to be able to share something like that as well.
It is.
And it's interesting because that you told me of something else, like this long list of services that you provide. That Salvation Army is a cooling station. So tell the listeners.
We can be a cooling station, like when it gets really hot.
Yeah.
And once in a while we do. Even in International Falls, we'll get hot.
Sure.
Times, like if the index is getting really, really in the hot side, close to 100 degrees, that our doors will be open and be cool in here because we do run air conditioning, and we have water.
Cold water.
You receive some water, some nice cold water.
But that's interesting. I mean, again, you just don't know. It's a great testament to walking in and sharing your situation, because I mean, who would think that they could knock on a door and say, "I'm really hot." But
come in.
But that cooling, that's a basic need when you're overheating, and it doesn't happen very often, which makes it dangerous for us up in northern Minnesota, is that people don't realize how dangerous something like that can be.
No,
we know all about frostbite.
That's right, we do.
But we don't talk a lot about overheating, and now
and getting into a cool place, and that's what we can do. We can provide the cool place for them to sit, just to get cooled off, and then some water. And it might be food. They might need some food as well to replenish.
Right.
And it's replenishing their body so that they can continue on, because they may, be walking and nowhere to go.
Sure.
But we're here.
And we're seeing that in some other countries that I am thinking that there probably are some Salvation Armies that have people sitting in them right now. I mean, when you've got that many countries, that many places where people can come for services. I have to tell you that this is it's delightful and really heartening, I think, for me to visit with you, just to because of who you are and how important this is to you. You're getting emotional too, aren't you? I know both of us keep checking each other's eyes.
Yes.
But it's I think what happens is you go about your work quietly. Mm-hmm. Service is not flashy. Doing the right thing and providing for people in need. Salvation Army isn't a big teller. Salvation Army isn't a great promoter of its services. Mm-hmm. Salvation Army is a great provider of its services.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about honoring this 90 years of this type of giving with this 90th anniversary event.
Well, we'd like to share it with the community because this is, the communities we serve, the community and the people in it. And so we want to do an open house.
Okay.
And it's going to be on June 11th from 10 to 6.
Here,
yes, right here.
Yes.
And we're going to have tours. We're going to have door prizes. We're going to have places throughout the building that you can find out about the history.
Okay.
There's probably going to be pictures, people you may know.
Just imagine 90 years.
I know.
I mean, the way that your services have changed and so forth, but I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. And we're going to have ice cream making.
Ice cream making. All right, now that makes sense now that you're a cool spot.
Right.
All right.
And we're just, we've got some, just some fun things to be doing. We'll have, tours, I was saying tours, and we've got door prizes. We got barbecue.
Let's talk about that.
The barbecue. Well, we're going to have a cook-off, and it's our first annual cook-off.
Okay.
And so it's for adults and children. For the adults, it's going to be beef, pork, ribs.
Right, okay.
And
it's a barbecue rib cook-off.
Yes.
So it's a contest.
It's a contest.
All right.
It's a contest.
All right.
It's and so they can choose. They could do all three, or they can do one of the three.
Okay.
And then the children, theirs is going to be hamburgers.
All right.
So I think it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. We're going to have it out in the parking lot right here.
Yep.
And the Assemblies of God Church, they have graciously given us their parking lot to use
we take care of each
for the
other.
parking. We do that. We're good neighbors.
Yep.
And so I think it's just going to be lots of fun. Just a lot of informational points in our building that people can get to know us better. The history, what we're doing today, and also, we'll be having divisional headquarters. We'll have some people here to talk about planned giving, about how to support the Salvation Army, and so because we do have a headquarters in Minneapolis, and that's our divisional headquarters there, and so and we're in the Northern Division.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah.
Central Territory. But we'd like to just welcome everyone just to come and just come in and see us. And we're going to have a lunch. It's $3. We're going to have brats, hot dogs, and potato salad, and which is some good fixins right there.
Who are you taking volunteers for your judges for that?
We are. So if there's anyone out there you would like to judge, we need you to call us.
How great! How great!
So we're going to need about 3 judges.
And do people have to bring if they're going to be in the contest, the cook-off, whether it's burgers or ribs? Do they have to bring their own? I mean,
they have to bring their own.
So if we're doing burgers, if our kids are going to do burgers, they provide their own.
They provide their own, whatever barbecue.
Okay.
The grill that they're going to use is charcoal.
Okay.
I think it's all charcoal.
Okay.
And then they just provide their own meat and everything.
Okay.
And so we don't do it.
Is there a certain amount that they need to bring?
They have to have enough to be able to serve, an amount for the judges. And so we'll have 3 judges.
Okay.
We're hoping to have 3 judges.
All right. All right.
And same with the meats, because it's going to be beef. They can choose beef, chicken, or the pork ribs.
Okay.
And they can do one or the other.
Okay.
And so there is an entry fee.
All right. So get your saucy ideas, right? Your rubs and your secret sauces ready.
And then they can come here at 7 o'clock in the morning to get ready to start the cook-off, because there's certain times that they're going to be serving the judges to be able to taste. And so the entry fee for the children is $15.
Okay.
And then for the adults, for the beef or the chicken or the pork is $25 a piece. So if they enter for the beef, it'll be $25.
Whichever type of
meat that they choose to barbecue.
Okay.
Yes.
So 25 and 15. All right. Okay.
And we have prizes.
We have prizes.
For them. They're wonderful.
They're not just Tupperware dishes that we can take the leftovers. That would be a great prize.
No Tupperware dishes. But our local businesses are very gracious to us and providing those prizes for us to give away. I just see the graciousness of our community, businesses and people of the community and how great they are.
And again, a lot of that goes on very quietly.
It does. Yes, it does.
Very quietly. We've both been on the side where we want to shout to the world that so-and-so helped us out, and they say, no, I just want to do it.
That's what they say. That's okay.
It's a really beautiful thing.
It is.
Really beautiful thing.
It is.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to look at what else there's trophies too, by the way.
Oh yes, there's trophies.
Okay, can't wait to see what those look like. But that's from 10 to 6.
That's from 10 to 6.
So that is that's an event and an open house thing that I really I think we kind of giggled a little bit about people saying there's never anything to do in International Falls, and just call me because there's so many places I'd like to be out at the same time, and we're really quite lucky. And most of them are feeding us for a pretty low price. So I'm just saying there's a lot of benefits to this.
There is.
So if you come, of course your doors are always open.
They are. They are. And we welcome anyone to come and just to visit us, and if they've got questions or anything that they have for us or just want to talk. You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for this day to see people in our community that have been here and that they know the Salvation Army and how maybe they've helped them or someone that they know, and just share stories, the history of the 90 years. And I'm sure there's much history that can be told, sharing.
Your story.
Share your story.
That's a great invitation.
Right, and that's that story that you talked about earlier in the kettle. That's the thing. It's like you don't know where that dollar's going to, but there's going to be those stories that say, yes, my son, my daughter, my grandma, my grandpa, I had received the help that we needed at that time. And I can hear many, many stories from people.
It matters.
It does matter. It does.
And it can make a matter it can be of value very quietly. But the impact can be quite tremendous.
And it does. It's like, you don't think about it, but that, whatever you donate can make a difference for life and for somebody.
It can make it could go one way or the other, right? So one of the other things too, now that we're getting kind of emotional again, right?
Yes.
It's just such good stuff.
It is.
It is okay, by the way, to put change in dollar bills of different countries into the kettle.
Yes, it is.
Because it is international, and they make sure that money goes. We giggle about that, but because of where we live, right?
Right.
But we are one community, regardless. And we've spent a lot of times on both sides of our river that divides us. But the bridge really brings us together. And again, with the Salvation Army that exists on the Canadian side of our communities too,
that's right.
Never feel like what you have to offer at that kettle isn't enough, because it always matters.
It does matter.
It always makes a difference.
And it collects.
It does. It adds up.
That giving collects, and it does make a difference.
Yeah.
And you think, well, how can that nickel make a difference? But a nickel here and a nickel there, it adds up, and even even pennies.
Yeah.
And so we're thankful for all the donations that's given, because with those donations we can help.
And it does. Yep.
We can serve.
There's no question. Anybody will tell you that every dollar counts.
It does.
Every penny counts.
Every penny does count.
Never feel again like what you gave wasn't enough.
No, and it makes a difference.
Yep.
It makes a difference in a life, and that's the part about serving people, is you're serving them, and it's a giving. You're not expecting back.
Right.
You give.
Yes.
You serve in giving, and that's the blessing we receive in just knowing that we're helping someone, and it's like that's a part of giving and serving.
And I think that's the whole person on the giving side as well.
It is.
Right? You talk about serving the whole person here, but as those of us who, scraping through digging in the corners of our purses, because nobody wants to walk past the red kettle.
No,
right?
And so,
they don't. It's not just because we want to be able to look Bev in the eye again when we see her, but because we really do want to give. I mean, that brings a wholeness to our experience as well.
It does.
And I think
well said.
Yeah, and knowing that giving with giving with intention and faith. Again, we don't. There's oftentimes we like to give and know exactly where it goes, and that's fine. That's great because that's real too.
I do have stats, by the way.
You do, yes. Yeah.
I do have stats I can share.
Show me some. Give us a little bit of detail here.
I have. See here if I can get my right paper.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Well, here we go. I have some stats that. Like for instance, for the month of December 2015. Now this wasn't just. It's not Christmas, it's just the basic needs of people. We served 57 people.
Wow.
With just basic needs like heat, rent, lodging.
In the winter.
And that's winter. And that's the winter. That doesn't include the 300 and some baskets. I think we did 385 Christmas baskets this year through our Angel Tree program, Toy Shop. So that, and I don't have a whole total number on the people that we serve through that, but it's amazing here what we're able to help with. And like I say, we have heat share dollars, we have food, medical, we have rent, utilities, clothing. Just the other day, we had someone come in that they were in need of boots to get to work. They had to have a certain, a piece of clothing to be able to work. And so we're able to help with them with that. And that's what it's about is, they're in one need. I need boots to get to work.
They're a pair of boots away from pulling themselves up by the bootstraps.
That's right.
They got to have the boots.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't take much. Things that we take for granted.
No, I have a closet full of shoes. I do.
Yeah.
But when I think of it, and someone I see come in and they have holes in their shoes and they can't afford a pair of shoes.
It's very real.
And we can buy that pair of shoes because of your donations. And so so that they don't have, when they walk out there and by the water, the puddles, that their feet aren't going to get wet.
Sure. And there's a dignity piece to that.
There is.
We got to honor each other more.
Yeah, we do.
That.
And clothing, they're in need of clothing. We're in the wintertime, we're in need of, more clothes here. We have to have heavy coats or warm coats, and so we can provide that with the dollars that are given.
These things are available.
They are, and it is to help the quality of life, as. And that, I think that's the part is to get them to a quality of life where it meets the whole of the person and with dignity, as you said.
Yeah. People don't want to feel like they are a charity.
No, they don't. No,
nobody wants to ask. It's nobody. I don't care where you're at in your life.
Yeah.
It's hard to ask.
It is.
Because not everybody knows the circumstances that allowed you to be in that position where you have a need.
That's right, and it's oftentimes it's not because of what we've done, but because of circumstances. It could be sickness, it could be, like I say, a loss of job or something beyond our control. But we find ourselves in that situation where I can't pay my rent, I can't pay, for groceries. Yeah, I can't have gas.
You just ask.
Just ask.
You just ask.
Yeah. And that's what we want everyone to feel free to be able to come and ask, because we are here to love with the compassion of Christ and to serve with His compassion. And that's what that drives us in the mission. It's a mission.
It's a mission.
I want to cry.
I know.
So, but
that's why you do what you do. Yeah. It's always such an honor to be with you. The one good thing about the cardboard, Bev, is it doesn't cry.
True.
Otherwise, we really want you in the flesh. We really prefer you. As you can see, Bev is really fun too. You're just a delightful person, and that we have to have some laughter.
Oh, we do.
We have to have some laughter. We can have laughter. We can have tears. We can have hard conversations and light conversations.
They're happy tears. Actually, they're good tears.
I know that you're crying because you feel very blessed. Isn't that wonderful?
It is.
Yeah. Let's keep Bev crying. By continuing
no, that's not fair.
By continuing to bless her with goodness. So where do we go from here? I always, try to decide how to sum up a conversation. We of course will make sure that we have contact information for you, and invite people to pop in and say hi.
Yes,
really
anytime.
Yeah.
We just welcome anyone anytime. We're here, and so like if they just want to stop in and tour, they don't want to ask a question or just visit.
Yeah.
Just a place to visit, even a place to sit down and have a cold.
A nice cold, if you got a little itch.
Or you need to get cool in the summer.
And maybe that's something we need to invite our community members to do more too, is you don't have to have necessarily a need to come and connect with each other and get to know what is available in our community.
That's right.
Yeah. It's really it's a powerful thing for me, and as someone who loves my community and gets kind of frustrated sometimes, because when you love something, there's also those these conversations with providers like the Salvation Army, leaders like you and your staff, who I also have met and have long great friendships with. These are really good people, right?
They are, and we can't forget our volunteers either.
Oh no!
But the volunteers, they help us move forward.
Yes.
They are the ones that talk about quiet.
Yeah.
They're the quiet ones
come in and
too.
get it done.
And they come in, get it done. They say, "What do you need today?" And they do it, and they leave.
Yep.
That's all they want. They just come in. How can I help you today?
Just let me know. What can I do? What can I do? What a beautiful thing.
It is. It is.
The money, we'll talk a little bit about this because it's something else I didn't want to forget, that when you when you look at other charitable organizations that spend a lot of time, in media and advertising and there's a lot of that takes a lot of resources.
It does.
You and I talked about this. You run very, very lean here. This is a very, very humble. You people work here and do good here because of mission, not because of money.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a mission.
It's a mission.
We're working alongside Jesus, and so that's the mission, and it's His work.
Yeah.
And it's the Salvation Army that works alongside Jesus and along with the workers that we do have here, and the volunteers and all of you that donate. So you help us to further.
And that's what sustains this.
It is.
It's the mission.
It's the mission.
And working for something good from the right place. And with that as the foundation, 90 years in this community. How many years have you been at the helm here?
Actually not working here. Well, for a core administrator, I've been here for 7. July 1st will be my 7th year.
Okay.
And I was a core coordinator prior to that.
Okay.
And then I was a bookkeeper prior to that, and I was a cleaner there. But I've been here, I've been with the Salvation Army in the church since 1985.
Wow.
When I first came, I didn't know anything about the Salvation Army. My mother-in-law says, "Bev, why don't you go to the Salvation Army?" I went to the Salvation Army. I was at a broken time in my life, and they welcomed me with open arms. And there was no, it was like they didn't care how you came, just that you were there. And so it's become my church. And not only that I'm here serving as a core administrator, but it is my church. And they had great support for me when I needed them.
And there's your story. All right, thank you. And don't forget, June 11th.
Yes.
Get your barbecue bibs on.
Right. Get the grills, get the meat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Being with you just really it heartens my whole being here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.